Welcome to our debate on the right to habilitation versus the right to personal liberties, protecting both. Hi, I'm Becca. I have been a special education teacher for 5 years, 2 of which have been at a private school for littles on the spectrum. After graduation in July, I will enter into a behavior specialist role at my school. From there, I will enter my clinical work as a BCBA, and I hope to open my own clinic one day.
Hello, my name is Latoniya. I have been in the ABA field for about 2 years. I have experiences with kids who have been diagnosed with ASD. I also work with children ages 3 to 7. I'm currently in school for my master's program in ABA. I plan to become a BCBA and take on the role of the BCBA supervisor at my current location. The debate gave me a deeper understanding of the impact of professionals like BCBAs, that they have, the impacts they have on individuals diagnosed with ASD.
Hey guys, I'm Anthony. I'm currently an RBT and have been working in ABA for almost 5 years. I work primarily in a clinical setting, but also have kiddos who receive therapy in home. Most of the clients I work with are mostly males between the ages of 4 and 10, but I do have a client who is turning 19. I am 2 semesters away from graduating in the summer, including this current semester we are in now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Santos, and I've been working the ABA field for 7 months. I work in a clinic setting. In the clinic where I work, I treat children from the ages of 18 months to 5 years old. The students that I had worked with are siblings. The brother is 5 years old, and the little girl is now 4 years old. I'm now in my second to last semester, and my goal is to graduate in the summer.
Hi, my name is Natyreyia Tobias. I have been working at ABA for 2.5 years in a clinic setting. I have worked with kids around the age 4 to 13 years old. I am now in my apprentice program with 2 clients under supervision from my BCBA.
Our topic is the right to exercise personal liberties versus the need for habilitation. The United States highly values personal liberties, which are protected by various amendments of the U.S. Constitution. However, individuals with developmental disabilities often do not have these rights fully extended to them. Instead, there is a strong focus on habilitation and normalizing people with developmental disabilities through local, state, and federal laws and initiatives. Consequently, people with disabilities, particularly those with severe disabilities, may become trapped in a system where their choices after school are determined by others due to barriers related to attitudes, fundings, rehabilitation services, and healthcare. On the other hand, service providers are also concerned about issues regarding liability in providing services. It is important to consider both sides of this issue and conduct research in order to develop defensible arguments that examine the professional and ethical dilemmas involved on each side. The structure of our debate is informal. Latoniya as the fielder, Becca as the introducer and the designated leader and organizer, Anthony as the summarizer, Amanda as an illustrator and researcher, and Natyreyia as another illustrator and researcher. Up first, Anthony and Natyreyia will speak on people with disabilities can make bad choices, as well as achieving habilitation compromises personal liberties.
This research contributes to the conversation on habilitation by emphasizing the need for a holistic approach that includes health promotion as a fundamental component of supporting. According to Lester, the study focused on exploring the role of direct support. Study focuses on exploring the role of direct support in initiating health promotion strategies for individuals, especially the adults living with developmental disabilities. Lester conducted through research into how direct support professionals perceive their responsibilities in encouraging and facilitating healthier choices among the individuals they support. Based on the research findings, DSPs play an essential role in advocating for health promotion, but face significant challenges due to the lack of training, resources, and support from their well-established organizations, such as intense fear of violating the right of individuals with disabilities. Individuals suffering from disabilities are more prone to make bad decisions concerning their health due to lack of adequate knowledge and neglect. The article aims at outlining the importance of DSPs in the rehabilitation process, It forms as an essential component among individuals with disabilities through establishing favorable environments and conditions for making self-guided, informed decisions on their health and well-being. This table shows that there are 3 contributing factors that the disability benefit decisions pertaining to client health, finances, and interpersonal relationship between administrator and a client.
Thank you, Ty. Alternatively, habilitation programs allow persons with developmental disabilities to make better decisions, leading to a better quality of life that is more fulfilling. Firstly, learning about communication skills allows people to clearly express the needs and also understand others through social interactions. This leads to informed decision-making in social settings, such as understanding social cues, leading to better social interactions. Secondly, habilitation programs encourage the development of social skills that are vital for social interactions. This allows people to determine when to ask for help or who to trust with assistance in their daily life activities. Finally, habilitation allows for teaching self-advocacy, thus empowering persons with disabilities to voice their needs, leading to a better quality of life. Topic 2. Habilitation, when working with clients that have developmental disabilities, involves teaching life skills to live independently. While the goal or the intent of service providers is meant to be in the client's best interest, there is a line that is often crossed where the service provider exerts too much control over the lives of the clients and therefore infringes on their personal liberties. While habilitation at its core is meant to benefit those with developmental disabilities, there have been countless cases and situations that personal liberties are overlooked, with the service providers answering to only what they believe is right. In the class action suit in Alabama, Wyatt v. Stickney, the court determined that mentally disabled citizens have the rights that include individual habilitation to provide opportunity for a more useful and meaningful life. Not only is habilitation mandated in many states, it is also funded based on meeting a specific standard. In an effort to meet this standard, the client's personal liberties and right to choose is often overlooked and compromised. Having choices on how to live one's life, like when and how much to eat, when to go to sleep, or how to spend your time, is cherished by all, including those with developmental disabilities. When involving habilitation, though, those rights are taken away and overlooked, with service providers making those choices for their clients and, in a sense, abusing their power by removing any sense of personal liberties. By removing a client's input on decisions regarding their treatment goals or how they achieve them, they won't feel motivated to reach those goals and resist. Another way habilitation compromises personal liberties is when a service provider or teacher or staff teach behaviors or activities with zero regard to the client's preferences. Choice, while a critical yet mundane part of everyday life, is often overlooked by atypical people, but when involving habilitation, it is frequently not taught or given to those with developmental disabilities. The crucial part of habilitation completely compromises personal liberties of the client. The data shown in the next slide will display the percentages of those with disabilities who do not have a choice in the various aspects of their daily lives, including living arrangements, staff, roommates, jobs, among others. These decisions were made by others, such as caregivers, doctors, and other medical professionals for them, with no regard to their personal liberties. Habilitation, while commonly practiced with good intentions, oftentimes breaches the rights and personal liberties of those with developmental disabilities. Service providers can and do overlook the preferences, rights, and choices of whomever they are habilitating by doing only what they see fit and choose, with no regard to those preferences of the client. Clients should have input in decisions about what skills they will learn and how they will be taught. The point and goal of habilitation is to teach how to live independently and have a meaningful life, not control the choices made.
Thank you, Ty and Anthony. Up next, we have me speaking on the idea that everyone has the right to choices, and Amanda speaking about direct support improves the quality of life for people with intellectual disabilities. Making choices is a daily, hourly occurrence. Before I even get out of bed in the morning, I already made up 3 choices. Am I actually going to get up? What am I going to wear? And do I want coffee or to shower first? The thought of there being a population that might not have the right to these choices was the furthest thought from my mind, but that is the reality. The idea that everyone has the right to choices could be an abstract thought to those with disabilities, but in fact, everyone does have a right to choose, disability or not. The topic of housing and support is a huge choice that those with disabilities can and should be able to make. When it comes to those with disabilities, living situations often look like supported living facilities. But those in the supported living facility, do they get to decide the level of support they desire? Since the 1980s, progress toward the independent living of people with intellectual disabilities has necessarily focused its impact on the opportunities and possibilities of choice and control that they can exercise over their own lives. This hasn't been easy, as this leads to questioning exactly what this looks like. Independent living is understood to be a question of human and civil rights. It refers to people having control of their lives, not the ability to perform activities by themselves. According to Pilasera, independent living raises the question of human and civil rights as referring to people having control of their lives, but not the ability to perform activities by themselves. This leads to the functional aspect that would lend itself to independence. This concept is what they call supported living. Pilasera conducted a qualitative study by interviewing people with intellectual disabilities who received support in their own homes under the SL model to see if they felt if the support was adequate. 7 of the participants chose the type of support they wanted and when they wanted to receive it, which itself showcases that everyone does have the right to choices, including those with disabilities. Table 1 provides specific data on the situation of each of the participants with disabilities, indicating the following information for each: age, sex, organization of the offer's supported living arrangements, number of years they have been living in the supported living program, and people they live with, whether it's their partner or other service users. They split participants based on the level of autonomy prior to joining the SL model, as seen in Table 2. But this alone did not stop those with lower autonomy from the right to their own choices. Those with higher autonomy made the decision to seek the support for things like venting or holding a ladder when they need to clean blinds, for example. They also appreciated how unbothered they were and that no one was telling them what to do. Those with lower autonomy still got the choice of support, it just looked different. For example, it might look like going shopping together or providing emotional support and regulation, as well as cooking together. So as it seems, those that need more support simply ask for it and receive it on their terms.
Thank you, Becca. As stated before, Pilasera conducted a qualitative study by interviewing people with intellectual disabilities who received support in their own homes under the supported living model to see if they felt about how they felt about their experiences in choosing their own level of support and if they felt if it was beneficial to them. Each participant showcased just how important and meaningful it was to them that they were able to live somewhere that allowed them to make their own choices when it came to the level of support they received in their day-to-day lives. It is no secret that the idea that everyone has a right to choices rings true, even for those with developmental disabilities.
Direct support enhances the quality of life for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Support professionals are known to be the backbone of those with disabilities. Direct support professionals offer a diverse and complicated variety of services, including assisting people with everyday tasks and encouraging physical and emotional well-being. Job tasks may include help with relationships, health, safety, communication, personal care, prompting, and advocacy, along with community living, financial duties, and more. According to the article in Utilized Personal Outcome Measures, interviews from over 1,300 people with intellectual developmental disability, known as IDD, to examine the impact direct support and professionals change has at individual and organizational levels. We found direct support professionals continue in central to the quality of life of people, including human security, community relationships, choices, and goals. People with many types of disabilities, as you see, benefit from the support they receive to be able to manage adequate life living situations without having to feel overwhelmed, stressed, included with others, etc. People with intellectual disabilities should suggest the average organization supporting people with disabilities or older adults may see anywhere from 30 to 70% direct support professionals turnover a year. These support professionals work in multiple locations, such as home, clinic, centers, group homes, private, and even public places. Their goal is to support those that need in any way that they can. As it was mentioned earlier, they are a person's backbone, which relieves them from so many negative aspects of life because they know that they have someone to rely on when needed. The estimates suggest that by 2020, direct support will be the largest job in the country, with approximately 5 million direct support professional positions. These professional supporters are known to be the most vulnerable workers in the nation. According to the BACB Ethics Code 301, called the responsibility of the client, it states that behavior analysts act in the best interest of clients, taking appropriate steps to support clients' rights, maximize benefits, and do no harm. They are also acknowledgeable about and comply with accessible laws and regulations related to mandated reporting requirements. The overall job of a professional is to make sure his or her client is being taken care of in the best way possible, and that means obeying the law, staying out of harm, using all benefits given, and that the client's rights aren't being taken. The core principle of the BACB also falls into play. The four core principles are to benefit others, treat others with compassion, dignity, and respect, behave with integrity, and ensure their competence. The client's welfare and rights are being protected, actively identifying and addressing factors, respectfully collaborating, treating others equally, prompting clients' self-discriminations to their best ability, acknowledge their personal choices, fulfill responsibility, educating others responsibly, not misrepresenting themselves, remaining the scope of competence, working to always increase knowledge in the field, and evaluating the boundaries of competence and more. The data shows participants age range, gender, diagnosis, race, and primarily method of communication. There are 1,341 participants that were recruited approximately 2 years between January 2015 and December 2016. People with disabilities, service coordinations, case management, families or individual supports, behavioral health care, employment and other work services, and registrational services.
Thank you, Amanda. It is critical that people with disabilities receive the necessary professional help. Help is provided in various areas, including public and private, for a variety of reasons like financial, advocacy, and educational. It enables people with impairments to complete tasks without the added stress and negativity that comes with being unable to do so. Living in the environment, in the community, and feeling involved makes people with disabilities feel equal. According to the BACB, it falls within the four core principles and 3.01 of the Ethical Code. Professionals must prioritize a higher standard of living. It provides them compassion, decency, and integrity, protects them from neglect. They feel respected, develops relationships, and makes people with disabilities feel equal like the rest of everybody else.
Thank you for the conversation, Amanda. Now we have Latoniya speaking on exercising making choices can help individuals with developmental barriers gain a sense of independence, and Ty speaking on habilitation involves teaching the skill to those individuals to live as independently as possible.
Yes, thank you, Becca. We will be discussing how exercise and making choices can help individuals with developmental barriers gain a sense of independence. So choices are something individuals make every day. Like Becca mentioned earlier, even before people leave their homes in the morning, most people have to make a number of decisions. However, opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, so IDD, to make even basic decisions for themselves tends to be far more constrained. If individuals with disabilities practice independence in making choices, will it improve their independence and recognitions of self-worth? According to Gover and her associates, the ability to make independent choices is of a paramount importance to self-advocacy and self-determination. These are two great traits all individuals should have. Most individuals diagnosed with ASD or have the disability do not get the chance to really build a sense of self-advocacy and self-determination. In Gover's article, named A Practitioner Guide to Emphasizing Choice-Making Opportunities in Behavior Services Provided to Individuals with Intellectual and developmental disabilities. They discussed how it can be harder than it looks to integrate meaningful choice making into behavior programming, but they were also able to compile the most recent relevant studies to give practitioners practical recommendations for implementing choice making in their routine behavioral services. So including a person actively in their own support planning can help them build their self-advocacy and self-determination skill sets. This guarantees that a person needs, interest, and values comes first. According to the article again, the research on choice has provided several compelling reasons why it should play a key role in supporting planning for people with disabilities. For example, the act of choosing may improve motivation to engage with tasks or reduce occurrences of challenging behaviors. Self-advocacy and self-determination skills are extremely important for individuals with disabilities to develop in order to gain independence for themselves. The next slide has a table that represents a summary of common challenges associated with incorporating choice-making opportunities into behavior services and their possible solution. So for the first topic, we can just talk about, so how can we facilitate choice making? And a challenge that could come up is individuals appears to not detect differences among options or multiple support programs are available, but the individual preference among them is unknown. A solution here is ensure that the individual experiences the outcome of each choice option. Because for most individuals with disabilities or it is usually hard for them to know the consequences or to know the benefit of the choice they're making. So this table recognizes that it's important to show both sides, so the client or whoever you're working with knows exactly what choices they're making and how it's going to affect them, and just the pros and cons of what that choice can make for them, which is something that's very important for behavior therapists, BACB, whoever is in the direct support field for these individuals to know, so these individuals can know what they're choosing. And Anthony, you can summarize for us.
Nice work, Latoniya. Despite potential practical obstacles, experts offer attainable recommendations for implementing opportunities for choice-making in behavioral therapies. Making decisions is a crucial skill linked to many of the basic human rights that every person is entitled to. It is within the responsibility of practitioners to give special attention to educating people with disabilities about making decisions and giving them opportunities to do so. In order to satisfy the person-centered mandate, it is imperative that target behaviors, goals, and support strategies are developed with the individual's needs, preferences, and values in mind. For people with disabilities to achieve independence, it is crucial that they acquire self-advocacy and self-determination skills, which can be accompanied or accomplished by exercising and making choices.
Okay, I'll go into the counterpoint of rehabilitation involves teaching the skills to these individuals to live as independent as possible. People with disabilities often make bad health decisions on their health based on the choices and limitations they pose. According to Bannerman, there is a crucial balance between promoting rehabilitation, teaching skills for more independent living, and respecting the personal freedom of individuals with personal disabilities. The authors argue that while rehabilitation focuses on developing and enhancing life skills, there must be a consideration for the individual's right to make personal choices such as eating unhealthy food or engaging in lecture activities like napping. Though various case studies and examples, Bannerman explains, the ethical implications of intervention programs that modify unhealthy or unproductive behaviors. They contain the ensuring the dignity of choice for people with developmental disabilities is as important as the goals of habilitation. The work is provided for discussing the intersection of ethics, personal freedom, and habilitation. It highlights the complexities of supporting individuals with developmental disabilities in making choices that affect their health and independence. So table 1 contains the characteristics of focus group participants. The age range are from 43 to 69 years old. The participants also had varying levels of education in high school and some of college. Table 2 goes into participants' outlook of the direct support professionals, DSP, as support, assistant support for developmental disabilities, safe while stimulating completing individual support plan, also known as ISP. Many participants saw DSPs as responsible for social interactions as a way to promote emotional well-being. Some participants also viewed it differently and saw DSPs should better promote healthy behavior choices and as a physical activity.
Thanks, Ty. One of the major benefits of habilitation programs for persons with developmental disabilities is encouraging independence. This is based on providing the much-needed skills necessary for autonomous living. For instance, teaching them important practical skills like cleaning or cooking helps minimize their reliance on others. Likewise, teaching persons with disabilities self-care skills empowers them to enhance their appearance through dressing or grooming, which reduces their dependence on others. Also, learning communication skills encourages independent living by promoting social interaction and expressing their wants and needs.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you for summarizing all of our topics and just getting to the main points for those topics. And now I'll be wrapping up our overall summary, and then after that, we'll go into our questions where me and Amanda will go back and forth, just possible questions that viewers could have. So for closing summary, throughout the informal debate, we can see that there are many pros and cons to personal liberties and habilitation. So in order to provide efficient habilitation, many service providers exercise a great deal of control over the lives of clients with developmental disabilities. The need of habilitation is important because it can help these individuals develop many skills they wouldn't acquire if not because of these providers. But sometimes providers overstep their boundaries and hinder clients with developmental disabilities independence. But it does not have to be like that. The BACB Code of Ethics is a great tool for BCBAs and other providers to look to for guidance if they're unsure if their treatment plans for their clients is the best choice for them. The ethical decision-making model is a tool made for situations like these. It is not necessary to see habilitation and freedom of choice in mutually exclusive objective, as in being conflicting towards each other. By boosting client certification with habilitative procedures and goals, personal liberties may facilitate habilitation and increase the likelihood that a client will participate. Even everyone has the right to make decisions, and the habilitation process should incorporate decision-making. Within the framework of habilitation, service providers could put in more effort to educate and give client choices.
Thank you for the closing summary, Latoniya. We will now open it for question and answer time.
So, Latoniya, how can cultural competency play a role in the right of habilitation? Does it influence what is considered right or wrong when making choices?
Right. So first of all, it is important to acknowledge that in recent years, the demands for behavior and analysis to serve consumers with diverse cultural backgrounds have significantly increased, and that the field is in great need for culturally competent behavior analysts who can integrate appropriate culture consideration to their programs. So yes, cultural competency can play a significant role in habilitation. Aside from helping to eliminate racial and ethnic health disparities, cultural competence can enhance treatment outcomes and quality of care. Clear communication can result from this as well. Being culturally competent helps professionals be aware of their own beliefs as well as their clients' beliefs. This way, professionals will not heavily rely on what they know is right for their client, but also what their client chooses or what they feel is right for themselves. And a possible question we also could have from viewers, Amanda, for you to answer. How can providers utilize the BACB ethics code to ensure that they are providing effective and proper care? Is it in the client's best interest?
So the Ethics Code of Behavior Analysts provides a means for behavior analysts to evaluate their own behavior and for others to assess whether a behavior analyst has violated their ethical obligations. If a BCBA ever stumbles across a dilemma, it is important to use the 11 steps of the ethical decision-making tool in the Ethics Code. As a BCBA, according to the core principle 2, treat others according to the core principles 2, treat others with compassion, dignity, and respect. It is important for the professional to respect and actively promote client self-determinations to the best of their abilities, particularly when providing services to vulnerable population. Another question that we can come across is, for you, Latoniya, how to determine the wants or needs or values from an individual with neurodevelopmental disability.
Right. Although personal liberties promote respecting or at least gaining consent and hearing what these individuals want or prefer, the form of communication is limited. In Gover's article, they mentioned that it can be challenging to determine a person's desires or values or the tactics that work best for them. This is due to two factors. A, verbal reports may not always be accurate measures of preference. B, some people have poor functional communication skills. But functional analysis and preference assessments acknowledge and actively pursue information about individuals' needs, but it's not sufficient to like completely understand what these individuals are telling us or trying to communicate to us, the therapist. So according to Gover, they mentioned achieving such engagement and thus promoting autonomy and self-determination requires teaching specific skill repertoires within like our treatment plans and just whatever we provide for these individuals to better help them communicate their needs and wants, so we can, respect and honor that and just help make our treatment, the best treatment possible for them.
Thank you for listening to our presentation.